Here's what we've been waiting for, to see a Cup car on track. And first up in qualifying for tomorrow's YellaWood 500 is the Dinger. AJ Allmendinger for Corlig Racing. He's back in the 13. And that's exactly how many Cup races he's done this year, 13. So let's start number 14 in the campaign and see what he can do.
14 of the campaign, 20 here at Talladega. So this is a man that knows a lot about the high banks of Talladega. And I think when you look at Corlig, who they would admit is a bit of a down year, this is how you can have a bright spot, right? We saw last week a non-playoff driver go to victory lane with the one of Ross Chastain. Well, if you're AJ Allmendinger, this 13 car, Corlig Racing, why not us? We hear that, that motto a lot. This would be a big week if they could pull it off.
And look at this, on track, a qualifying specialist, one of the best of this year as far as qualifying is concerned. Kyle Larson has 5 poles. The man on track from Front Row Motorsports, Michael McDowell, has 5 pole positions as well.
He's won the pole for the last 4 drafting type racetracks. So everybody on pit road is watching this car, because you know he's going to set the standard.
You know how Steve was telling you and Jeff was telling you about the changes with the roof rails and the skirt addition as well for the cars and the roof flap? NASCAR had all 3 different manufacturers in the wind tunnel, made the test, had a look, and it still appears from that the numbers show that Ford may still have less drag. They may have an advantage here. And so far, it appears that way with Michael McDowell, 3.5 tenths to the good.
I mentioned 52.60. That was the pole in the spring here at Talladega. Just to give you a reference, this one is going to be much faster. So the teams have found speed. The 52.60 wouldn't be good enough today, as this is going to be in the 40s, if not better.
Michael McDowell to the top, 100, almost 183 miles an hour, 52.3.
Yep. Go ahead and cool that thing down, cycle the engine. You'll be running again in the second round. They're not going to that's not going to fall out of the top 10. That sounds like a very comical Bubba Wallace letting everyone know that the ride is not smooth on the 23 car. Now remember, these are just for qualifying. These cars can be adjusted for the race. So you mentioned playoff drivers, Jeff, and here we are. 12 of them to go. First one, Austin Cindric.
And you can expect this to be a very good lap. Those Penske Fords have had really good speed. He's got it. He's got great speed right here. I don't know that he's going to have Michael McDowell's speed. Still a little bit of time.
It's growing. It's getting better. The picture looks better for the discount tire Ford from Team Penske. Ryan Blaney met with the media earlier today, and one of the more interesting things that Ryan said was, as a team, us Penske guys, we look out for each other on tracks like this. We find each other and we look after each other. He said, I believe, better than anybody. So we'll see if that comes to fruition again tomorrow here at Talladega, as Cindric is about to finish his lap, and it's getting better and better, almost 4 tenths of a second over Ryan Preece, and Cindric goes to P2.
You talked about the Penske teammates, how well they work together. They feel like they work together better than everyone else. It wasn't always the case. They had to go through some difficult times. Daytona 500, late they were wrecked, you know, and there were some difficult conversations that had to be had. And through that, though, they got better and they learned how to work together as teammates. And it takes commitment, it takes dedication, and it also takes thick skin, because when you have teammates, and a good lap by Blaney to third, when you have teammates, you can expect to be disappointed. That's just the way it is, because there are times a teammate has to make a move that doesn't work for you.
And right on cue, here is Ryan. This man has a good track record at Talladega. Can that continue tomorrow? Are we going to get another spoiler, fellas? A non-playoff driver winning, or is it going to be time for a playoff driver to lock himself in to the round of 8?
Well, playoff drivers have proven that they find a way in this fall race at Talladega to go to victory lane, but I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't think it's going to be one. I think we're going to get a non-playoff winner.
The concern for the playoff guys is, and it will be somebody or several of them, who's going to have the really bad race.
Right.
Who is going to get caught up early in a wreck, who's going to not get stage points and have a wreck late and leave here in big trouble trying to make the next round.
This lap hasn't gone the way that Ryan Blaney would have hoped in the Menards Ford P3. So it's Gilliland, Busch, Blaney. So he just edges his teammate Joey Logano. 2 to come. One of them is the sole remaining Team Penske driver, Austin Cindric.
Austin's been really good. Look at the number of points that Austin Cindric has gained on this type of racetrack. He loves it, and he's good at it. You know, won the Daytona 500 in his rookie year, by the way. And he was comfortable in that race, and in every other race he's been comfortable in. He's had a chance, Steve, to win many of these drafting style racetracks.
He's found a way to be aggressive, be at the front, and to your point, though, still score points. You know, not find himself out of the race near the end.
And he's got to get plenty of points tomorrow, that's for sure.
Well, that's the thing. At 29 points behind,
yeah.
I think leaving here, I mean, a win would be the goal. But if he can just close that down to single digits going to the Roval, then I think you have a tangible, realistic option to get through on points next week.
Look at this. There's going to be a Team Penske Ford go to the top. Austin Cindric in the discount tire machine gets it. So he's guaranteed at least a front row start.
Yeah, it's going to be a Ford front row. Just a question of which drivers.
Well, Michael McDowell's going to have to slow down about a 10th and a half of what he ran the first lap.
Well, let's see. I expect to see a lot of green.
There it is, right off the bat.
He was excited to come to Talladega this weekend. Last weekend in Kansas did not work out very well at all. They just were never in the mix. And Michael just said those kind of weekends, they're hard, but you know that they're coming. That's part of the sport.
And I'll tell you as a crew chief, I know you want to win the pole, but you know, hundredths of a second, you can start to measure wind and all these different things. But when someone like the 34 car goes out and dominates every single time, it really starts to frustrate you. You're like, what are we missing? What have they figured out? Because they've obviously unlocked something that allows them to be this fast every time we come to a super speedway.
Look at the margin. It's almost 0.2 of a second up on Austin Cindric, who ran a good lap. And it's going to be pole position number 6 on the year. He surpasses Kyle Larson. Michael McDowell is on the pole for Front Row Motorsports. And the Loves Ford, they've done it again.
Yeah, what a great job by that team. And it's, Steve, you talked about how frustrated it is to be on the other side of that, you know, getting beaten by that badly. But this team is committed to building fast race cars, and more importantly, just committed, know how to do it, and then keep doing it. I mean, think about the year they've had, the number of poles on this type of racetrack, and that doesn't happen by chance. That is skill, dedication, commitment, desire, everything it takes to be successful in sports. And that shows you how important teams are in this. It's not just about the drivers. It is those guys right there, the guys back at the shop, the guys at the engine shop, everybody. It takes every single one of them to make this happen.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.